Hey guys, another video from the Anti-Nerd here, and today I'm going to comment about the film Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm gonna do a spoiler quick review, but mostly I'm gonna be talking about the wave, the whole wave itself, and comparing with some older Marvel Legends based on the Fantastic Four characters with the comic book design. So first I'm gonna talk quickly about the film, and of course I'm gonna comment more as I look into the each character, each figure. But I like the film. I think it was a great film. I enjoyed it. I liked more than Superman. I did release a quick Superman review if you want to check that. But Fantastic Four, I was very much hyped for the movie, and the action figures got me more excited. But as I watched the film, I start to like a little bit less, the action figures, and I'm gonna explain why. So I think Fantastic Four First Steps is a very classic film. Its aesthetics is very elegant, very polished, it's very well done, and I love the score. It's made by Michael Giacchino, and you might know him from the TV show Lost or the film Incredibles, and he did some other remarkable things, but I think he is a great composer. So I am very excited to rewatch the film. I think I'm gonna rewatch only when it come out on Blu-ray. So I don't think I'm gonna be rewatching on the movie theater, but I had a great experience, and I think there was a problem with expectations because people expected something different. At the end of the day, this is a classic film where they do beat the evil guy, the Galactus, and I was expecting Galactus to destroy their universe, their Earth, so that will make a pathway to the Earth 616, which is the main MCU Earth. So I think a lot of people that didn't like was a problem of expectations. As you guys know, in the internet nowadays, you're gonna find a lot of people that loved the film, a lot of people that hated the film. So right now on internet, you can find your niche of opinion, and I think it's healthy to look at both sides and engage with discussion. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna give the film a 4 out of 5 because I think was a very interesting film. So let's talk about the figures, because that's the main reason you guys are here. I'm gonna start with the Thing, because he's my favorite character in the film, but he's my least favorite figure, because in the film he doesn't wear this shirtless outfit, and I pointed at the articulation, the torso is really good and his pinless and all, but he's only displayed like that, he's only shown like that in one scene, and it's even a flashback scene. So I don't get it why they didn't put him with the full uniform, because listen, the clothing with this character, the most melancholic character, he uses the clothing as a resource to feel more human. So it's awful that they put him as this savage man that's shirtless and bare feet, because he's not in the film, he's not like that. And some people said, oh, because Hasbro only has access to the conceptual arts, whatever. Hasbro is a giant company, Disney is a giant company, so is Marvel. So I don't get it, what's the big deal of Disney and Marvel updating Hasbro regarding the toys. Because if you remember the Toy Biz ones, first in the 2005 they released several waves, which I don't think is gonna happen with those figures of the First Steps movie. But also they did these specific scenes, they did this specific power display that was awesome. Like they did the astronaut Ben Grimm that changed the head to human to stone. So right now we got just this generic looking figures that, I'm gonna be honest, I like the figures, but I don't think they represent the film as they should. And let's do a quick comparison here with the other Thing figure I have. This is from the Super Scroll Wave, which is a build figure. I personally think that this one is more cool, the size, like it's bigger, although I'm not gonna say that the figure of the film is imprecise. He comes with this belt right here, and he has pretty much the same sculpt as the Walgreens one, which many people consider the holy grail of Fantastic Four Marvel Legends figures so far. I don't have any of that set, although I will admit it's a better set. But this Super Scroll figure is fun. I personally don't like so much the painting. I think the orange is too saturated, too vibrant. So I think I like a little more the color on the First Steps figure. But overall, I think bigger figures, they're more fun. And this character, he's big. I think he's a little small, the figure, because in the film he is kind of big. I mean, he's not giant, but he's a little chunkier than the version that they put out in this First Steps wave. But as you can see, the torso articulation on the Super Scroll is worse, but he comes with a head sculpt, extra head, so it comes with two heads. And also I'm very pissed that they didn't put an extra head of Ben Green with a beard, because he spends almost the entire second half of the film with the Rock beard, and they pull it out with the Colossus, they pull it off with the metal beard. So I don't know what's the deal. So let's take a look at the Human Torch and his retro version. So Human Torch here, the retro version, is almost an unfair comparison, because this one's pretty classic. I mean, you can tell that there's the little black stripes there, but I think this new figure is overall a better figure. Like, the sculpt's more detailed and the fire effects are way better, are more translucent. This retro one, the fire effects are a little too red, as almost like they feel like a cosmic power. So I think they nailed better this Human Torch figure. This is my favorite figure of the wave, probably. It is super cool, super well done, and you can see that there's quite of a difference here. The head sculpt of the retro one reminds me a lot of the Silver Surfer one. It is very similar. The head, maybe not the same, but it is very, very similar. Feels very much like an alien. And this retro Human Torch here, he feels like a comic book version, and he doesn't have the 4 on his chest, which makes him more unique compared to the other Fantastic Four characters. And Human Torch is always a character that has been popping in other medias like Spider-Man games and comic books. So I've been saving these retro card figures to show, and I finally got a chance to show you guys. I know that there's a lot of reviews, but I think they did a pretty good job with this retro package. I wish they released more waves and more well-done figures. I pay only $15 for this one, and I believe that you can get some of them really cheap, but some of them are a little more pricey, like The Thing or Doctor Doom. But overall, I love the Toy Biz throwback when Hasbro does. They absolutely nail in the package. If you want to read the description, there's also the other characters from that wave. I only have Invisible Woman. I would totally get it, Mr. Fantastic, if I found him for a good price, but I do think that the finger effects are way more weird than the stretching arms we got with the Pedro Pascal figure. So yeah, Human Torch is a character that I think the movie figures better. So let's jump to Mr. Fantastic right here. I also have the Super Scroll version, which I personally love this figure. I don't know, there's something about this head sculpt that's so unique, so cool. I love Reed Richards with the beard. I think it's awesome. And this black uniform, I don't know, I hope they use it some sort of inspiration to the Secret Wars film, where they probably gonna get new suits. But I feel like the black suit with the blue details makes it more modern, makes different. So I think this Super Scroll wave is very nice because of that, of the uniforms. But this figure right here, it is very cool. The Pedro Pascal figure, they nailed pretty well the pinless body, the articulation, the detail on the fabric. Of course, it is a better body sculpt. It's a better body mold. But personally, I like the head sculpt of the comic book bearded Reed Richards more. And I want to do some head swaps with those guys during the video. But yeah, nice looking Mr. Fantastic figure. I love the character. I think that he does a pretty solid acting. He's kind of like a little bit autistic, a little nervous. He portrays this scientist guy that's always paranoid and wants to protect his loved ones. And he comes out as this smart guy, but also with some alienation problems, you know. So very good acting. I don't think that he reminds me of other Pedro Pascal characters. I think he did a pretty good job of creating his own version of Reed Richards, and I prefer him rather than the 2005 version. So let's do a head swap right here. I think they look good, especially the one on the left with the comic book head sculpt on the film body mode. It works just fine as your classic Fantastic Four. So here's Pedro Pascal with the comic book suit, and it looks a little too skinny. So let's take a look at the Invisible Woman right here. The retro one, a lot of people hate it, the head sculpt. I don't think it's that bad. It's just, it reminds too much of a 50s type of woman. Those sort of faces that you could see being casted for I Love Lucy and those old shows. And I'm gonna say I love the character of Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, in the film. I think this head sculpt is of Vanessa Kirby is the one that most, like, it's more faithful with the actress. They did a pretty decent job. The body mode's far superior to the body mode female figures that they put in the comic book ones. I just wish she came with more accessories. But other than that, it's a pretty solid figure. And the other one, the old one, doesn't have double elbow joints and the articulation is more limited. The body feels more fragile, it's less articulated. It's fine for what it was, but I think now, especially with the Psylocke figure, check my review, these female characters, they are so dated, the old Marvel Legends, and we should expect a lot of updates because they've been doing a good job with female characters during 2025, releasing very good figures like Warbird. So here's the packaging. I paid really cheap for this one. I paid just $10. It was worth it to check it out, but I don't know. I think they could have done a better job with these comic book figures. And the articulation here, it is similar in the torso, but overall the articulation with the movie ones are far superior. And I think it was interesting to see that at the end of the day, she was braver than her husband. She was kind of like the leader of the Fantastic Four. Here's a comparison with the Super Skrull Wave. I also want to do a head swap pretty soon. And yeah, it's pretty much the same body mode as they use for the retro one. The head sculpt's far better, but for me it still feels a little bit outdated. But it is nice, and the blonde tone that they used is very different. It's way darker, less shiny, less blonde. It is pretty much the same head sculpt except for the feet here. You can see that she has like a heel in her feet. So yeah, I'm very happy with how the character came out. In this new #1 issue that we have right here, she is portrayed, she says that she's the leader of the Fantastic Four. So the comic book reboot they've been doing, it's very much aligned with the First Steps movie. And here's a head swap. I think it looks great on the black suit on Vanessa Kirby. And here's a look on the figures with the swapped suit. So I would definitely hope for a black type of suit in the Secret Wars film. I think it would look very cool. So here's Johnny Storm. This figure also disappointed me a lot after I watched the film because the head sculpt doesn't look like the actress, and also the hair, guys, it's not at all like that. He has a more straight hair and it's more shiny in the movie. It doesn't remind anything like this. He even has little straight bangs in his hair, in his forehead in the movie. So very disappointed on how he came out. It's not a bad figure, but I'm analyzing compared to how the fidelity of the figure is with the film that, you know, the figures are based off. So it is a great figure. Check my reviews, but not as good as if you consider how the film portrays him. So let's take a look at some fire effects that I have here. Those are from the Ghost Rider Deluxe, the 85 Marvel anniversary, and it's not perfect, but definitely adds a little bit depending on the angle you're looking or taking pictures. So since he didn't come with many pieces of fire, I assembled those here of the Ghost Rider to try something a little different. I think it works for some pictures, maybe if you put some effort. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So if you guys have the Dark Phoenix, definitely try that. I do not have that figure, so I'm just trying here, accumulating all the fire I could gather from my Ghost Rider 85 anniversary Marvel Legends figure. And here's the Silver Surfer. I think this figure looked absolutely great, and I thought it was already great, but it's very similar to the film, and it attaches perfectly here, the board with the effect. And it's a super cool effect. It's a very interesting character. The surfboard came out way better than the Walgreens comic book one. In my video I also compared them, and the painting looks great. Has a few golden details that if you twist a little bit the figure with light near it, you're gonna notice that her painting is not only silver but also a little bit of gold that shines and makes the figure stand out a little more. The hair was very good. The figure's pinless, has a updated body mode for female figures, has double joint in the elbows, and I have no complaints with this figure at all. I think it's definitely one of the best of the wave, and I was really surprised that all those figures are sold out on Amazon. And I was expecting the figures to be there in stock for a longer time and maybe even be put on clearance. But no, that was not the case. As I record this video, all figures are sold out. You can get them on Amazon for a higher price with third-party sellers. So the $24.99, at least right now on Amazon, it's not available. Maybe in other stores. So I was a little, on the fence here if I would get the figures on pre-order, but I'm glad I did. So here's Doctor Doom. I want to discuss a little bit the post-credit scene. First, they said that it was directed by the Russo brothers, the directors of Avengers, and they also said that it was actually Robert Downey Jr. in the suit. I think those two facts, they don't matter at all, because the scene is pretty much a fan service. Very dumb. Anyone could have directed that. Anyone could have been in the suit. So they can just be fooling us and lying to us. Really doesn't matter, because the scene doesn't have any signature of the Russo brothers, and you can also cannot tell if it's really Robert Downey Jr. or not. It's just a tease. It's a fun service. Doesn't tell much. I think was kind of lame, and was very disappointed with the post-credit scene. However, I am not gonna count that scene as, a part of the film. It's just a post-credit scene. And this Doctor Doom from the Cabal set is one of Hasbro's masterpieces. I know that the retro one's gonna get reissued. I probably gonna get it because I think it's a dope figure, and Doctor Doom's such on the rise right now. The green on the retro one is more vibrant and shiny, but I think the Cabal one here, I am crazy for soft goods. I love this fabric cape, and I love the green. It's more dark, it's more realistic. It reminds me more of that sort of fairy tale green, very forest-like. I think it's dope. This figure comes with an extra head of Doombot, comes with guns, comes with extra hands. It is a great figure, one of Hasbro's masterpiece for sure. Very cool detail here in his body mold, in the texture of his suit, especially on the green part. It is pinless, so great figure. I'm gonna show here MODOK. Is a figure I have for a while. I think it's a great figure. I know there's crossovers with Fantastic Four, and this figure right here, I think it's the one that looks the most similar with the Toy Biz one. Of all the Hasbro updated versions from the old Toy Biz Marvel Legends, this one feels like very similar to the older one. It's creepy, it's fun, it's articulated figure for what it is, and I wanted to try to use this effect of MODOK here as a fire type of effect, but and it doesn't quite work because it's too red. It doesn't remind a regular fire, so I wouldn't say it works. I'm just trying out different things here because that's one of the good things about Marvel Legends. Sometimes a lot of accessories or parts of the other Marvel Legends, you can mix it together and they blend pretty well. So I think this MODOK would go pretty well with Fantastic Four in your shelf. It's a great figure, it's very fun. It comes with an alternative head. It is very fun to assemble. It's a Marvel Legends that you have to mount it to make it work. Very different. So if you find this guy for a good price, definitely get it. It's worth it. Looks great on your shelf, and you will not regret it getting MODOK. So that was my review of the whole wave. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed my comments about the film. I'm very excited to see this Fantastic Four team again. I hope that the box office performance doesn't harm the continuation of this universe. I thought that the retro futuristic Jetsons vibe was just great, very well done. I love the New York setting of the film. Just overall, a very solid film and probably my favorite comic book film of the year. I don't think Marvel released any bad film this year. I liked Captain America, Brave New World. A lot of people didn't. I did. I like Thunderbolts and I like Fantastic Four even more than those ones. I think if I was a kid and was rewatching and watching over and over the Fantastic Four, it would be probably a favorite of mine because that's the sort of thing I used to do when I was a kid, just rewatch many times those superhero films. And that turned me into a Marvel Legends fan and a Marvel comic book fan. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review and stay tuned because I'm gonna be releasing a lot of reviews from the new Marvel Legends Hasbro releases. So stay tuned to the Anti-Nerd and bye bye.